We have a live look at the Vatican this afternoon, where the faithful are gathering as they mourn the loss of the head of the Catholic Church. And today, the Vatican announcing that the funeral for Pope Francis will take place coming up on Saturday in St. Peter's Square. Thousands of people are expected to attend, and that does include President Trump. CBS News has more now on the plans being made in Rome.
Catholic cardinals are gathering at the Vatican to finalize plans to honor Pope Francis and eventually choose his successor. Senior clergy and Vatican officials paid their respects to Francis Tuesday during an intimate service at the Santa Marta Hotel, where he laid in a coffin, adorned in a red robe and papal mitre. The first images of the late pontiff came on the same day Vatican officials announced his funeral will be held Saturday in St. Peter's Square.
There is a sense of a void that is somehow going to have to be filled. But coupled with that immediately is also the intrigue of what comes next.
The 88-year-old who died Easter Monday after a stroke that caused heart failure left behind specific instructions for a simple burial at Rome's Basilica of St. Mary Major, with a one-word inscription on his tomb, Franciscus, his name in Latin. There will be chanting in Latin as Pope Francis's body is moved in a solemn procession on Wednesday from Santa Marta to St. Peter's Basilica, where he will lie in state until the funeral and burial.
Pope Francis almost had like a radar for people who were left behind.
CBS Evening News co-anchor Maurice Dubois spoke with Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who was part of the conclave that selected Pope Francis 12 years ago.
They're going to see some mourning, they're going to see some gratitude, they're going to see some hope, and then they're going to see people say we need to get to work.
The cardinals will be choosing a date after Saturday's funeral to begin their conclave to elect the church's next leader. Tony Aiello, CBS News, Rome.
And in just a few minutes from now, Gonzaga will host a Mass of Resurrection for Pope Francis. That Mass begins at 12:10. That is at the University Chapel, and again, starting in just a few moments. A Spokane artist is remembering how a small piece of the Lilac City is in the Vatican. Vincent de Felice, a Gonzaga Prep alum, created a statue of Peter Faber that is in the middle of his high school. Pope Francis had a miniature version of the statue in his personal collection. Now that the Pope has passed, the statue will live in the Vatican Museum. The artist says it's an honor to have his work displayed alongside great artists like Michelangelo and Da Vinci.
The best masters in the world. And again, I am not near them, but to have the work there is for me it's just an amazing story, really.
For me, for Gonzaga Prep, for Spokane, to know that one of our own created something that was special to Pope Francis, that's pretty cool. I mean, that doesn't happen.
That's right, they hand carried that statue to the Pope and delivered it to him. As the world says goodbye to Pope Francis, we will be tracking, of course, the latest developments from the funeral to the search for a new Pope. So stay up to date on every moment. We have that on KREM 2+. Again, KREM 2+, just download our streaming app on your TV and you can watch for free.